Chapter 12. The invitations went out 10 days later. Congratulations! You're invited to Cody Bertyler's 13th birthday party! This Saturday at noon on the Yawny Valley Green. We rented out the gazebo. Bring presents! Important, this invitation is not a ticket to the party. Your ticket is a good birthday present. And I'm only inviting the cool kids, so don't go telling everybody. Shh! Secret. Be there or be lame. Also, it's a potluck, so don't forget to bring some food and drinks. And also don't forget the present. Make it good. The hallway buzzed. Clusters of students huddled in corners, chattering. Some were looking over their shoulders. By the drinking fountain, Stuart was doing a little dance. Did anybody else get an invitation from Cody Bertyler? 14 different students said, shh, at once. 2 girls were giggling near Miles's locker. He heard the shorter one say, yeah, I think he's the quarterback at St. Perpetua. He plays the electric guitar. The taller one said, yeah, Cody Bertyler is so cute. Miles smirked. Cody Bertyler wasn't cute. Cody Bertyler didn't even exist. This morning was the culmination of more than a week's worth of planning that had taken up 6 full pages in Miles Murphy pranking notebook. It was Miles's greatest achievement. Forget a car on some steps. Miles had invented an entire person. Cody Bertyler, who'd be throwing the greatest birthday party Yawny Valley had ever seen. He'd made up the invitations, only 10, because, and this was the master stroke, you only needed 10, as long as you made the party a secret. Already kids were inviting one another. The invitations had only been circulating for 11 minutes, and this party was the social event of the season. At the party, Miles would reveal that there was no Cody Bertyler, that the whole school had been pranked. And then, and this was the other master stroke, he'd leave with all the presents everyone had brought. And everyone at Yawny Valley Science and Letters Academy would know that Miles Murphy was the greatest prankster the school had ever seen. He'd be a legend again, an even bigger legend than he'd been in his old town. Nobody had ever pranked an entire school before. Miles folded his arms and leaned against the lockers. He pictured the glory. It was perfect. Good morning, buddy. Miles jumped. He turned around to Niles standing behind him. Since we're school buddies and future life buddies, can I tell you a secret that I am not supposed to tell anybody? Sure, said Miles. I mean, this is a big secret. I could get in trouble for telling you. Okay, said Miles. Niles leaned in close. I got invited to Cody Bertyler's birthday party. Who's Cody Bertyler? Miles asked. He's only the coolest guy in Yawny Valley, said Niles. He plays football. He's in a band. Niles looked down at the invitation. He likes lightning. Wow, said Miles. Sounds cool. Does he go to school here? No, I think he must go to St. Perpetua. Anyway, Niles looked both ways before continuing in a whisper. Do you want to come to the party with me? I don't know, said Miles. I wasn't invited. That's okay. Actually, technically, it's not okay because the invitation says that we aren't supposed to tell anyone, but, like I said, sometimes it's okay to do something wrong if it helps you do something right. How is this doing something right? Becoming party buddies, said Niles. Plus, you're new, and it'll help introduce you to Yawny Valley's vibrant social scene. Plus, Cody Bertyler gets more presents. Miles pretended to think it over. I'm in, he said. Great, said Niles. Here! Niles handed over the invitation. Miles admired his own work. The warning bell rang. A large reddish figure rounded the corner. Barkin. You tuck in that shirt, Barkin yelled. You spit out that gum. You stop doing that little dance. All of you, stop huddling. Why are so many students huddling? Miles closed his locker and started down the hallway. You, Miles Murphy. Miles froze. Yes, Principal Barkin? Did you move my car to the top of the steps last week? Miles sighed. No. It would make your life a whole lot easier if you just admitted it now, said Principal Barkin. Every day that you wait, the more trouble you... What's in your hand? Miles put the invitation behind his back. Nothing, Principal Barkin. Well, now I know it's not nothing, said Principal Barkin. In fact, I know it's something. Something you don't want me to know about. It's just a piece of paper, said Miles. I know it's a piece of paper, said Principal Barkin. I saw that right away, but now I know it's not just a piece of paper. I found that out when I asked you about it, and you hit it right away. Yes, it's an old principal trick, Miles Murphy. Ask about something, and if a student hides that something, it's because he is up to something. Huh? Said Miles. Enough talking, said Barkin. Hand it over. Miles didn't move. This wasn't part of the plan. What is it? Said Barkin. The plans to your next big prank? Miles tried to look calm. No, said Miles. Principal Barkin, said Niles. It's just a party invitation. A party invitation? Principal Barkin's nostrils flared. Niles put his hand over his mouth and directed a loud whisper toward Miles. It's fine. Show it to him. Miles had no choice now. He gave up the invitation. Principal Barkin slowly put on a pair of reading glasses and peered at the paper. Interesting. Very interesting. Cody Burr Tyler, eh? He snapped his gaze back to Miles. Well, he said. Well. Barkin folded the invitation and put it in his shirt pocket. Well, said Miles. Principal Barkin stared at Miles for 4 whole seconds. Then he pointed to a sign on the wall which read, Principal Barkin says, get to class. Miles exhaled. He turned, feeling flustered, and walked down the hallway in the wrong direction. Niles called after him. No, it's this way, Miles. We need to go this way. Miles turned around and followed Niles toward room 22. Miles! Principal Barkin shouted after him. Remember, I'm on to you. Barkin pointed at another sign on the wall. This sign hadn't been there yesterday. Principal Barkin says, I'm on to you, Miles Murphy. Chapter 13. It was incredible. Miles didn't know the exact number of students at Yawny Valley Science and Letters Academy, but he had a pretty good feeling that every single one of them was here for Cody Burr Tyler's birthday party. The town square was packed with kids. 2 hours earlier, the place had been empty. Miles had arrived at 11 a.m., pulling a wagon behind him. He'd parked the wagon next to a picnic table next to the gazebo. On the table, he taped a sign that said, Food and drinks here. Then he taped another piece of paper to the wagon. Gifts here. Finally, he lifted the finishing touch from the wagon. A cake he'd made himself, from scratch, with pink frosting and Happy Birthday Cody Burr Tyler, written in fancy green lettering. If Miles was going to prank everyone, it was only right to provide good cake. Then Miles had left. He didn't want to be the first one at Cody Burr Tyler's party. That definitely wouldn't be cool. Now Miles had returned and walked past a picnic table overflowing with food. Brownies, chips, dip, cookies frosted pink and white with little sugar sprinkles on them. Past 4 coolers full of soda and ice cream sandwiches. Past his red wagon, now filled with a tall stack of presents and colorful wrapping paper. There were red presents and blue presents, and presents with balloons on the paper, which, to be honest, were a little babyish for Cody Burr Tyler. Some boxes were flat, some were round. One was pretty clearly a telescope. A telescope! I brought that one, Stuart said. pointing with both hands toward a small gift that seemed to be crawling away. "Oh, man!" Stuart said, running after the box. "Stay!" Miles made a mental note to leave Stuart's present in a pasture somewhere. He placed his gift, an empty shoebox and silver paper, on the wagon and grabbed a slice of cake. 2 7th-grade boys were standing by a platter of chimichangas. "Have you said hi to Cody Bertyler yet?" said the one wearing the red hat. "Yeah," said the one not wearing any hat because he worried he didn't look good in hats. "I waved to him when I got here. I don't know if he saw me. A bunch of guys were playing 3 Flies Up and Cody Bertyler was permanent flyer." "Oh, that's cool. When I saw him, he was telling this really funny joke about pizza. We did our secret handshake and he said he'd talk to me later." "Cool, I think he did see me when I waved." Miles grinned. Secret handshakes, 3 Flies Up. They were doing his work for him. Holly Rash was leaning against a tree. Miles walked up to her. "Hey," said Miles. "Hey," said Holly. "Look out for that cake, it's really dry." "What?" said Miles. "I think it tastes good." "You're crazy. That cake is terrible." "Maybe you just got a bad piece. Here, have a bite of mine." "Never again," Holly said. "This is probably the worst cake I've ever eaten. Did you see that lettering? It looked like it said Bird Day. It says birthday. That cake is an embarrassment." "Forget about the cake," said Miles. "What do you think of this party? Pretty great, right?" It's all right. To be honest, I was expecting more from Cody Bertyler. I mean, I've never heard of the guy, but everybody talks about him like he's Cary Grant meets Marlon Brando meets Paul Newman." "Who are they?" Miles asked. Holly sighed. "Old movie stars." "And they all met?" said Miles. Holly sighed again. "What's a bird day?" Stuart shouted from over by the picnic table. "This party really needs something to liven it up," said Holly. "Hi, buddy," and "Hi, Holly." A pair of tiny legs was the only thing visible behind a gigantic box that was waddling toward them. "It's me, Niles." "We know," said Miles and Holly at the same time. "Oh, I wasn't sure you could see me behind this box." They couldn't. "That's some gift there, Niles," said Holly. "Thanks. I hope I didn't go overboard. To be honest, it's not entirely safe. I can't really see when I'm carrying it, so I planned a route to the park that didn't involve crossing any streets. That's why I'm late." "What did you bring, Holly?" Miles asked. "I brought myself," Holly said. "I'm not going to give a present to a guy I don't even know." "What?" Niles' voice came from behind the present. "I went all out. I wanted to celebrate Cody Bertyler for being born, and also thank him for recognizing that I was one of the cool kids by inviting me to this exclusive party." Niles put down his box, and for the first time saw the crowd that had taken over the town square. "Oh," he said. "Looks like someone shared the invitation." Niles shrugged. "Oh well, more gifts for Cody Bertyler, I guess." He adjusted his sash, which today said Party Helper, and picked up his box. "I'm going to drop this off, and then cake time." Miles checked his watch. 1:26. Almost time for the big moment. He excused himself and set off looking for a quiet place to prepare. On his way to an empty playground, he passed 2 girls he'd never even seen before. "Do you want the rest of my cake?" asked one girl. "No," said the other. "I had some earlier, and it was terrible." "Do you think Cody is going to play his guitar today?" "I hope so. Did you know Cody Bertyler can crush a root beer can on his head?" "Really?" "Yep, with the root beer in it." "Whoa!" Miles loved it. This prank had taken on a life of its own, and it was about to get better. Miles made his way to a creaky swing set and pulled out a crumpled paper from his jacket's inside pocket. It was his speech, which he'd written last night when he couldn't sleep. The alarm on Miles's watch beeped. A cow mooed. Showtime. Hello, everybody. My name is Miles Murphy, and I'm the new kid here in Yawny Valley. I'd love to take this opportunity to say happy birthday to Cody Bertyler. I'd love to, but I can't, because Cody Bertyler doesn't exist. I made 'em up. Yes, I'm sorry to say that this isn't a party celebrating Cody Bertyler's 13th year, but it is a happy occasion. The greatest prank that Yawny Valley has ever seen. Descend gazebo stairs. Much better than a car and some steps. Grab wagon handle. And so there's nothing left to say, but thanks for the gifts, and enjoy the cake. Exeunt with presents. Chapter 14. Miles stood next to the wagon full of gifts. This was going to be good. He grabbed a fork and a glass and dinged them together until he had the crowd's attention. Everybody turned to look at him. "Hey, it's the new kid," Stewart said. "He's dinging that glass! Why is he dinging a glass?" With everybody's eyes on him, Miles ascended the gazebo's 5 short steps. He took the speech from his pocket, cleared his throat, and began. "Hello, everybody. My name is Miles Murphy, and I'm the new kid here in Yawny Valley. I'd love to take this opportunity to say happy birthday to Cody Bertyler." That's as far as he got, before a yellow hatchback careened into the parking lot, honking its horn. The driver's door flew open, and Principal Barkin spilled out. Purple-faced and huffing, Barkin hustled across the grass, waving his arms. "Stop everything!" he shouted. "Stop that kid!" An uncomfortable murmur ran through the crowd. "Miles Murphy," said Barkin, arriving at the gazebo. "Stop this right now! You are done! Stand over there!" Miles walked down the gazebo's 5 short steps. The crowd gaped. Holly smirked. Niles nervously adjusted his sash. Barkin took the stage. "Students," he said. Principal Barkin stood in silence, waiting for everybody to stop talking. When you are planning a prank, it is important to plan for any contingency, and Miles had planned for this. In his pranking notebook, under the heading Possible Disasters, Miles had listed thunderstorm, squirrel attack, and busted by grown-ups. Miles knew when Principal Barkin had confiscated his invitation that there was a chance, however slim, that his prank would be compromised. And that's why he had an action plan for this moment. Sneak away with the presents. Miles gripped the wagon's handle. "Students," said Principal Barkin. He removed a piece of paper from his pocket. What was it? A behavior report? An expulsion form? A warrant for the arrest of Miles Murphy? No, it had guitars and footballs and lightning bolts. It was the invitation Principal Barkin had taken on Thursday. Barkin held it in the air. "Students," said Barkin. "When Cody Bertyler personally invited me to his birthday party, I was stunned. Although I probably shouldn't have been. Cody has always been the kind of upstanding lad who respects his elders. And although I am not even his principal, my understanding is that Cody goes to St. Perpetua, where he is a star on the field and in the classroom, not to mention his band, which, although I am not a big fan of contemporary music, well, even I can plainly see that Cody Bertyler really rocks the house." As Barkin made a strumming motion with his hands, Miles began to realize something. He wasn't in trouble. The prank was still on. Miles stopped his retreat. He'd only made it a yard or so. He took his first breath in 30 seconds and looked at his principal. "As I was saying, I assume Cody invited me because I am a pillar of Yawny Valley. And that is why I'm here, to honor Cody and make sure that he is given a birthday speech by a pillar of the community, and not by some kid who just got here and is known to have some behavioral issues, like probably parking my car at the top of some steps." Something hissed loudly. "Sorry," said Stewart. "That was my present!" "Again, as I was saying, we are here for Cody Bertyler's birthday. A very special birthday. Barkin looked down at the invitation. 13th? Wow, that's a big one. And that's why I pass on best birthday wishes from the whole Barkin family. My son, Josh, sends his regrets. He couldn't be here because it's his mother's birthday. My wife also sends her regrets. She couldn't be here because it's her birthday. A lot of birthdays today, but I wasn't going to miss this party, which is of course the biggest of the year. And look at that cake. Can somebody grab me a piece? Niles rushed up to the gazebo with a giant corner slice. To Cody Burr Tyler, said Principal Barkin, his fork aloft. To Cody Burr Tyler, said the crowd. Happy birthday, said Barkin through a mouthful of cake. Happy birthday, said the crowd. Principal Barkin smacked his lips a few times. I'm sorry. This cake is a little dry. Could someone bring me a juice or something so I can give the rest of my speech? The crowd, tired of hearing Barkin speak, began chanting, Cody, 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 Cody. Barkin, overcome by the spirit of the crowd, his mouth still full of cake, joined in. Cody, 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 Cody. Barkin clapped his hands and stepped down from the gazebo. Cody, 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 Cody! All eyes were directed at the empty stage. Miles smoothed the front of his shirt. The prank was back on. This was the moment. This was his moment. It was perfect. He walked back toward the gazebo. The kids chanted. The sun shone. An electric guitar riff blasted through the park. The crowd parted, and from its midst arose a tall boy wearing a football helmet and jersey. He bounded past Miles and took the gazebo's 5 steps in a single leap. The boy had an electric guitar slung around his shoulder. The number on the back of his jersey was 1. The name was Burr Tyler. Chapter 15. Hello, Yawny Valley, the kid said. Happy birthday to me. The electric guitar riff sounded again. Miles swayed slightly as his brain tried to process what was unfolding before him. Cody Burr Tyler, a kid who didn't exist, a kid who Miles made up, was standing in front of him. And he was cool. Although Miles's pranking notebook contained contingency plans for tornado, bird attack, and food poisoning, there was nothing in there for your fictional character magically becomes real, pulls a green pail out from behind the gazebo, and throws footballs into the crowd, which is what was happening right now. The students made a frenzied scramble for the footballs which Cody had autographed. Principal Barkin, being a good 2 feet taller than everyone else in the crowd, was catching most of the balls. He looked absolutely giddy. I'm open! I'm open! He shouted. Cody Burr Tyler held the bucket upside down to show it was empty. The kids groaned and settled down. Hey, all right, that was a lot of fun, but if I could get serious for a moment. Cody's voice got quiet. I just want to thank you for making my birthday party exactly what I wanted it to be, the party of the year. Principal Barkin, thanks for that moving speech. I wish you were my principal. Barkin applauded, alone. And to all of you, I just have one thing to say. Party down, live large, and thanks for all the presents. The electric guitar started up again. Where was the guitar even coming from? Cody hadn't played the one on his back this whole time. Cody Burr Tyler gave a massive thumbs up to the crowd. They roared. He jumped the banister and landed on the grass. Everybody roared again. Peace out, everybody! Cody Burr Tyler took the wagon's handle from Miles. Thanks for keeping this warm for me, little guy, he said. Miles watched as Cody Burr Tyler sauntered off with the gifts and loaded them into the trunk of a stretched limo, which apparently had pulled up during his speech. Keep the party going without me, everybody, he said. I gotta run. There's another party for me at my house. Then Cody Burr Tyler got into the back seat, still wearing his helmet, and the limo drove away. Chapter 16. What just happened? Miles was now sitting on the bottom step of the gazebo. Seriously, what just happened? Miles sat, and wondered. Kids laughed, music played, and Miles just sat. Stuart still seemed to be chasing something. Miles sat. Cars pulled up, parents waved to kids, and kids got into cars. The cars drove away, leaving behind clouds of dust. Miles sat. The stragglers took the last of the food, hot dogs and brownies, but not cake. There was still plenty of cake. Miles sat. Holly and Niles came over and talked to Miles. Miles talked back, but when they left, Miles could not remember what they'd said. It was all just noise. Everybody else left the park, but Miles still sat. Somewhere in the distance, a cow mooed. Miles sat. The sun set and the park lights blazed, the sprinklers came on, and Miles just sat. About an hour after dusk, Miles decided that was enough sitting. He stood up. Miles felt like he had entered a new world. Now that a fake kid had become real, anything was possible. Maybe the gazebo would launch into space, and Miles would colonize the Horsehead Nebula. Maybe lightning would strike that oak over there, crack it open, and gold coins would pour forth. Maybe a volcano would rise up from the field, and lava would devour Yawny Valley. But the eruption's blast would also propel Miles safely back to his old apartment in a pink building that was close to the ocean, with maps on the walls and on the ceiling, back to his old town, where he was a master prankster and everyone knew it. Miles waited a few seconds for something to happen. Nothing happened. All that was left of Cody Bertyler's party was a field full of trash and a platter full of cake. Miles grabbed a garbage bag. He ate a fingerful of frosting and then dumped the cake in the bag. He picked up paper plates and candy wrappers, soda bottles and cans, pizza crusts and stray potato chips. Miles was supposed to leave the park with a wagon's worth of presents, but all he had was a big bag of trash. He didn't even have the wagon anymore. He'd had that wagon since he was 6. Despite what everybody said, Miles was starting to think Cody Bertyler wasn't that cool at all. Take away the football helmet and the electric guitar, and all you had was a wagon thief. The trash bag slung over his shoulder, Miles took one last look at the park. Underneath the picnic table was something he'd somehow missed. It was a present. Miles dropped the trash bag and ran for the table. He got on all fours. The wet grass soaked his knees. Miles crawled under the table and picked up the gift. He looked around for Cody Bertyler, who might at any moment pull up in his limo and claim this last present. But no, Miles was alone. There, under the table, he held the present in his lap. It was the size of a shoebox, and its silver paper shimmered in the moonlight. Miles bit through the ribbon and ripped off the wrapping. It was a shoebox. The lid was taped on. Miles worked his index finger under the tape. He popped off the lid. Tissue paper. He peeled back the paper and peered inside. There, in the box, lying as lifeless as a real dead chicken, was a rubber chicken. This was apparently someone's idea of a joke. He grabbed the chicken by the legs, walked back to his trash bag, and tossed it in. The chicken landed belly up on top of some hot wings. There was a message written on the chicken's belly. Miles reached into the bag and pulled out the chicken. The words were written in big block letters. You can't trick a trickster. Meet me in Sherman's pasture. Sunday, sunset. Come alone. Who would give this to Cody Bertyler? Miles dropped the chicken and ran back to the table. He rummaged through the wrapping and pulled out a tiny gold gift tag. The words were written in delicate cursive. To Miles from Niles. Fact 313. Cows have 32 teeth, just like you and me. Fact 314. Cows came to America with the Pilgrims, but they didn't wear those funny hats. Fact 315. Cows can't vomit.